Hello, are you just tired of too many logs? Are you frustrated that you can't make sense of what's important and what's not? Do you wish there was just one high quality alert that would notify you when something was actually wrong, and that's the only one you had to chase after without employing a team of 50 SOC analysts? Well, you're in luck. You see, the problem isn't the lack of logs, it's just that there's just too many. Say I wanted to monitor if there's any thieves have broken into my office and are going through my things. I'll get an alert when the door opens, when the light switch is turned on, when the weights are moved, when someone sits in the chair, when... It's just ridiculous. And all I want to know is when someone is actually doing something that I don't want them to do. I don't want to get alerted at any time a cat walks by or the wind blows too hard, or I just want to know when something sinister is afoot. From a software perspective, this is super easy. You just go to canarytokens.org, select your token. So you select something like, hey, let's just create a Microsoft Word file. Let's just put in my email address where I want to get notified. Word document for the off fans. So create my Canary token, download your Microsoft Word file. So if I go ahead and open it, and then I go to my email, you can see here's oh look, the Canary token was triggered, and you know, it's the token reminder, where. It's just that simple. Now what's that I hear you say that this is just software? If this is fine if someone's snooping on my network, but you started off by saying, how are you going to find out if someone breaks into the office? I'm glad you asked. So let's take this same Canary token and apply it to the physical world. Let's consider this. People are allowed to walk into this space, they're allowed to use the computer and things, but what I don't want anyone doing is reading my book. It's my personal library, my personal collection. So I can put a notification system that kind of tells me when someone's in there doing what they shouldn't be doing, which is reading one of my books. So for that, let's see one of the books that I don't really... The Beautiful Poetry of Donald Trump, exactly. So we get the book, and into it we put one of those little, take one of these toys from speakers from a toy. Just if we just... Well, we dismantle it and put it into the book so that when you open the book, the contact is made. It should make a sound. Right, so this is version 1, so it's, yeah, you probably need to cut out a few pages or find a smaller form factor, but the principle is sound. So let's try it out. We open it. Did you hear that? Now the real benefit is if you don't have a crying baby but you record your own command to it, then that kind of makes it a lot better. So intruder alert, intruder alert, intruder alert. Simply yelling intruder isn't enough, and what I found out that if you record an Alexa command on it, you can actually get it to trigger an Alexa command that can, well, it's a bit complicated, but here's how it works. So if you get the little voice command to do a little trigger, and then what Alexa will do, Alexa will go to if this then that, and what if this then that will say is, okay Dropbox, create a file in it, and then something called Hazel which monitors the file. Once it sees that there's a new file, it will send a command to Automator that will then say, hey, there's something going wrong here, let's take a photo. Once it takes the photo, it will post it up onto, so that you get a photo of the criminal caught red-handed reading my poetry book. So that means if an intruder came along who looks like Eric Crone and he picks up my Donald Trump book and opens it, Alexa, trigger intruder.
Sending that to IFT.
Then you just do this and oh look, it ended up tweeting it. So now we have a tweet that says intruder alert, and we can see very clearly Eric Crone has invaded my office and is reading a book on Donald Trump's magnificent poetry. Oh yeah, I mean, I totally didn't spend far too long on that example. Now that's all well and good if you're only after a few files or you're only monitoring a few things, but for enterprises you need something with a bit more oomph. And this is it. The Canary. Ooh, oh. And here it is. And that's pretty much it. It just needs power and Ethernet. Now for some reason the audio didn't record, so now I'm doing a voiceover, which makes it look really weird. But you go onto your Bluetooth and you find your Canary and it should connect to it eventually. After which you go to setup.canary.tools. And while this is loading, it's a good time to let you know that this is not a sponsored video by Thinks Canary. I just happen to like their product and they were kind enough to send me one, but they've had no influence or say over this video. I just had to reset the Bluetooth, but there it is. And you can see you can give your device a name, you can give it a location. It's all pretty straightforward. Once you've given it a name and everything, you can select the device personality. And so there's many options: Windows, Linux, Mac, whatever you want to give it. The great thing about this, the brilliant thing about this, you don't need the ISO, you don't need to download it. It just masquerades as those devices. There's just a bit of Python script in the background that returns the value. So you're not having to install anything. I'm just going to use a Win2K server and leave it at that. Then you can fill out all the other settings, but I'm just going to leave it as the default. What's really good about this is that you can also create files to go in the share. So these are just like additional tokens or Canary tokens, like how we saw in the beginning. You can go in there. There's already some files in here, but I want to add something else. I just simply right click, click a new Microsoft Word document, and I can give it a name. So maybe I'll just call this like passwords or something like that. After that, I just click save and that should appear. Okay, I'm not logged onto my console, so I need to copy this code and authorize it in the console. So this is the console. I just commission a new Canary and I paste in the code from there, and then it gives me a return code which I copy and then paste back over into there, and hopefully that should just reboot and everything should be working fine. No, I need to actually go to approvals and confirm the Canary details. And yes, I do want updates to be downloaded. That's fine. Go. And now waiting for the red light to turn green. Waiting for the red light to turn green. It's kind of like... And there you have it. A green light. It is all up and running. I'm quite surprised and really proud of myself. That's like under 10 minutes. Very first time I've set it up. And you can see everything is just up and running. That's how simple it is. And now for the test. If we go on the network, we can see, oh, there's an office share. What's in the office share? There are some documents. I shouldn't be here, but let me have a snoop inside anyway. Ooh, IT, what? There's an emergency passwords doc. Let me see. Oh, there's a password. What could it be? I don't know. Let me try something. No, the password's incorrect. But if you look over here on the console, there's an alert that's popped up. And you can see a shared file opened on the bird there, right there. So you can go into it. You can see the IT emergency passwords doc was used. You know, you can copy the incident link and you can share with teammates and what have you. This is just fantastic. It's just one high quality alert that absolutely happened. And That's all we need. Now I'm really pleased with that. That actually makes me feel like a technology genius. Honestly, that is one of the most easiest enterprise products I've ever had to configure or set up. So full marks go to the team for setting that up. Now I think the question really comes down is, who's this for? And obviously protecting yourself from getting breached is the first thing. But it's not just external threats that you need to be worried about, it's also internal people or contractors or someone just doing what they shouldn't be doing, snooping around on your network. You want to try and keep on top of things. And a SIM is really good, it's powerful, but it takes a lot of effort to maintain and manage, and you do need to go through a lot of alerts. I'm not suggesting replace your SIM altogether, but having this on top of it so that it creates that really high quality alert that when it does trigger, it mainly triggers like 3 times a year or something. But you know that when it does trigger, it's something that is worth paying attention to. And I think that is really key. I also believe medium or small organizations can really benefit from something like this. So rather than having to implement a log management or some sort of threat hunting kind of capability, they can deploy a bunch of these devices coupled with a whole bunch of like tokens. You could put a separate token on every single endpoint you have. And that will give you a really good indication of whenever something is compromised or when someone's doing something they shouldn't. The pricing is really good as well. For $7,500 a year, you get 5 of the Canaries, you get a console, you get your own token server, everything you need to get up and running. And the beauty is that everything is just there. You don't need to download separate licenses. You don't need to have specialist staff. You don't need to do anything. I'm probably beginning to sound like a paid commercial, and I assure you this is not a paid review at all. I just really think it's simple to use, simple to set up, and very affordable. And in today's day and age, when you look at security products and the security industry, that's a rare thing to find. I hope you find that useful. I'm going to be brave and maybe open the comments down below open for a while. But leave what you think. Get in touch with the guys from Thinks Canary if you've got any technical questions, because they're probably far better suited than me to answer them. And with that, don't be strangers. Stay safe. And with that, don't be strangers. Stay secure, my friends.